We hear closure a lot. There will never be closure. No. We may have a face, we may have a name, we may have answers at the end of this whole thing, but we will live without our girls for the rest of our life. And that pain will never go away.
I agree. Yeah.
That book will never be closed.
No. Closure to me equals curiosity. It's and it's more fact driven than emotionally driven. Emotionally, they'll never be closure. No, because we'll look at her pictures. Well, Jackie's married. Her sister wasn't there for her wedding. Jamie's married. Her sister wasn't there for her wedding. So no. Will people have closure because of possibly their curiosity will be satisfied? Yeah. But I've never understood the word closure in reference to when someone is murdered and taken out of your life.
In concerning JB and Tracy, who would have likely grown up here and stayed in this community, who are the type of people that we missed out on here in the Wiregrass?
Well, JB got a double dose of personality, for sure. I think Tracy got a double dose of compassion. I could see Tracy would have been a Christian leader in this community. She had a love for her brothers, unlike anything I've ever seen. And JB, I think, would have been a dancer or a choreographer. And JB used to pester me all the time. You need to have some kids. And it was a kind of a joke. I'm like, I'm entirely too old to have kids. And she was like, but I'll help take care of them, And so I always said that JB went knocking on God's door one day and said, give her a kid. And Tracy was with her and said, and make it 2 boys. Because my boys are the exact age difference of Tracy's brothers. So I think, they'll always be our angels, and we feel their presence, we feel their love. And I think that they still have a hand of what's going on. You know what we wish? We wish everyone that knew them would post their stories. Tell some stories. Post the pictures. Post your prom pictures. Post a trip to the beach. Post dance pictures. Let's flood the internet and the social media. Showed my age there.
We need
flood the social media with their presence and their faces and their stories, because they are still so relevant. They are relevant
and so loved.
And
we need a reason to smile throughout all of this. We need that.
The stories help process what's going on.
Yeah.
It takes away the hurt to see the joy that they had.
One more quick one. There's a lot of documentaries that talk about this case. I've seen Shined Rabbit, I think is one. 3 Men and a Mystery is a podcast type deal where they talk through all of these details. Do you think those help or hurt?
I think they helped.
Yeah.
I think Shined Rabbit in particular, because I know the director very well. Her name's Veronica Silver, and I think that she was trying her best to bring attention to this subject, and she did have a theory, and she followed through with it, and she did her due diligence, and she produced a beautiful product. The story, the narrative was not what happened, that we know of at this point. But, I think anytime it's in the public eye or you're drawing attention to it, I think it's good.
We were planning to do 20 days out from the anniversary a story every day, and a PSA type deal where, you know, we said somebody maybe watching right now knows what happened.
Right.
And you know, where Mr. McCraney lives is less than a mile from my own parents. You know, he was right here in our community the whole time. I mean, what do you think about that? The fact that he saw news reports, he lived it just like everyone else in the Wiregrass, at least the last 19 years of hearing, you know, about this case in the news and the questions, and saw your tears on TV so many times and yet remain quiet. What, do you want to share anything about that?
I do, because that that bothers me, because how do I want to say this? If he was with her and it was,
If he was with her and he knew something,
and he knew
could
something,
have contributed to the integrity of this case by sharing some knowledge, he should have done it.
very quickly, he's had 20 years to come forward and to
Tell a story.
tell his story. And so now that it's come out, I don't need to touch on that. Never mind. I don't
No,
need to touch on
but
that.
you know, if you look through history,
Sorry.
there are a lot of people that have been guilty of crimes that walked among us. You know, that, and I don't want to reference that is who that person is, but I mean, I think you sometimes just never really know somebody.
Gotcha. I mean, he walked among us for 19 years, knowing all our families. We didn't know him.
The degrees of separation
Well, and
that's kind of
he
scary.
got to go on with his life
Right.
and walk around the streets not knowing or pretending like everything was okay when we've been suffering for almost 20 years now.
And we've been begging for answers. We did an interview about 3 years ago, me and my sisters and my dad, and we sat there and we said, we just want to know. We just want answers. That's it. Just give us that. I don't even care if there's a person in custody in jail that serves time. I just want to know.
Right.
Because it doesn't change it for me that he does time, or if he gets the death penalty, or if he ever faces judgment. He will one day with my God. He will one day. Him or anyone else, whoever did this. But I just need to know answers. I need to know what happened that night.
And at every vigil, Mike and Carol Roberts say, if you know something, please come forward.
Right.
You have said it. If you know something, please come forward. And that, if you know something, please come forward. His attorney made a statement that said the only thing the DNA proves is that they knew each other.
Well, then you know something.
Okay? So to choose to ignore the cries of families for help doesn't resonate in a favorable way with me.
And Mrs. McCraney said, too, when asked if they had talked about this case before, her response to that was, in essence, who hasn't? So it's come up in
And
their own
she's
home.
right.
Yeah.
And she's right. She's right. I do honestly, I mean, we believe innocent until proven guilty.
We do, yeah.
And I mean, if anything appeared to be disrespectful on our part, that we do not respect the law, that was certainly not our intentions, but this hits really close to home. And at the end of the day, the DNA will not be wrong. I know it. And so, with 13 days from today, we face a preliminary trial, and we'll move forward with integrity and with confidence and with love for everyone involved.
And prayers for everyone.
And especially law enforcement.
Yeah.
We are behind them 100%. I couldn't love our team more. I'm very thankful that we have the exact people that we have working
Yeah.
on it. I have a lot of faith in them.
Yeah, since Marlos took over, how's that? Did he, when Marlos became the chief in Ozark, did he reach out to you guys pretty soon after that?
He did me, I can speak for me, he did to me Marlos has dealt with me, my ups and my downs, and my highs and my lows, and he's just been a constant throughout this whole thing. I can just text him in the middle of the night if I'm thinking of something, you know, super early in the morning, and he responds. He may be super busy, but he always makes time for me, you know, whether it's just a few minutes just to put my mind at ease. Any questions that I have, he's always been there, and I'm thankful for that, because it is such a busy time, and you know, so much is going on, and he's the police chief, and
This is not his only case.
right, we're not the only ones. I can't expect him to
That need
just
his
drop
help.
everything for me when I have a question, but he does a really good job at balancing, and I couldn't do this without him.
And he did reach out to me, and he's taken my phone calls when I wake up and I'm like, have you thought about? And
Yeah.
and he always acts like, no, let's talk about it. You know,
Yeah,
and
he
has
cares.
that patience when I know he's probably going, oh dear God.
Yeah.
You know, yes, we've thought about it. We've been working this case, but he is very considerate.
Very. That's a good word.
He's
yeah,
very
very considerate.
Well, I know this has been a lot the past week, and just me personally, you've got my prayers through this process, and thanks for sitting down with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving JB and Tracy a voice.
My
We
pleasure.
appreciate that.